Welcome to the best hour of their day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez.
And me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the best hour of your day.
All right, we got Nicole Aucoin, Healthy Steps Nutrition. If you guys are listening, if you can hear me, and you want to lose 10 pounds by the end of this episode, this is where you need to be. She's guaranteed 10-pound weight loss.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Sure. No.
No? Yeah. All right.
Nope.
But
it
we
could
do.
be. It could be.
I'm interested in this, and we've got an agenda.
Okay.
But you've, in the last 5 to 7 years, skyrocketed in a business, HSN.
We've had some really cool opportunities this year. We have an amazing team, which has allowed me to travel and speak more, hang out with you on the road.
At the summits, Jay refuses to
I
come
don't
out
like
of his basement
to leave the
for.
house, yeah.
I absolutely love them. It lights me up. It's so much fun.
You like leaving the house?
I love speaking and talking to gym
Me
owners.
too, but you could do that from home.
I want in-person connection.
Yeah.
I want in-person connection.
get it.
She's
I get
normal.
it.
She's a normal person. You're not.
You have a brand new baby at home.
Yes.
So that's
Listen.
a reason not to leave.
Hey, stop defending.
I'm not doing
his work.
anything. I do nothing with
Stop
that baby.
Defending,
Yeah.
Stop defending. This
He's
is not what we
surviving
need.
without my help.
This is not
But
what
no,
we
it's
need.
it's been awesome to watch your growth, from a distance and just see HSN boom in the CrossFit space.
It's been really fun.
When did you start HSN? When was that When was that born?
So I started Healthy Steps Nutrition in 2012.
Wow, so it's one of those
11
overnight
years.
successes, 11 years in the making.
Yeah, 11 years in the making. And it wasn't until I came to the games in 2017.
You're on that
and
panel.
Had some conversations, and then that really led to a partnership that I was doing stuff for EDU.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Because you were kind of producing some journal content, right? Is that what
journal
it was? Yeah.
content, and then I wrote one of the CrossFit Preferred Nutrition courses.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year at the games, I had a conversation with Mike about joining the APN. And then that led to a lot of opportunities to connect with more affiliate owners.
What do you think separated you? Because even 11, 12, a lot of people are talking nutrition. But you have risen to the, top of the mountain as far as nutrition in the CrossFit space.
Household name. That's a fair.
In the CrossFit, I mean, yeah.
And affiliates. You
Yeah,
go
an
to
affiliate,
your average
affiliate,
CrossFit
yeah.
affiliate and you say HSN, that name is known, so well done.
Yeah, I agree
Well
with you. So what separated you? What was it about you and HSN that allowed you to get to the top there?
Helping one person at a time. I didn't come in starting the mentoring program, starting to work with affiliates thinking that we would be able to help thousands of gym owners on day one. It was let's see if this works for one gym, and then it worked for 2, and then 3, and then just one gym at a time. I mean, we didn't do any paid advertising or anything. I went on the CrossFit podcast that talked to Savon. That was a really fun conversation. He's trying to get your good angle.
Whose side are you on, Nicole?
He's trying to get your good angle back in 2017 or 2018. And just continuing to help. I mean, I'm so passionate about helping gym owners build this missing piece of the puzzle. And it really is a missing piece of the puzzle in so many gyms. And I think it's authentic. I'm not trying to make a quick buck. I won't give you the help, give you the tools. And if you want to save time and not reinvent the wheel, then we have a solution.
And I think that's why there's a lot of, similarity in our two companies. That's why we started too, right? Not to make money, but hey, we just love helping affiliate owners. And by the way, if you're good at that, money might follow.
Yeah.
But, that was never the initial goal. Was always, how can we have, Fern uses this word all the time, impact on affiliates. And if you have impact, no different than affiliate owners with their members. They're not going anywhere if you've changed their lives. And, whether business or nutrition, and interesting you say, there was this missing piece, which just so happened to be the foundation.
Minor detail that it's the foundation.
Yeah.
How did we skip over that?
Yes, surprising that it wasn't more obvious.
So, on that note, so obviously the evolution of HSN has gone through, I don't even know how many iterations at this point, but when you initially started, you could not have been using an app at that point.
Nope.
So what did that look like in its inception?
Oh my gosh, I made so many mistakes. I think there was a lot of emphasis on me telling clients what to do, and there wasn't enough accountability between in-person visits, and it's stuff that we teach today. Nutrition coaching is not give someone a meal plan. It's figure out
Right.
what's the one thing they can commit to, and most importantly, your job as a coach is to keep them accountable to that one thing. So the app that we built is the ability, the path to keep them accountable in a simple, streamlined manner. But gosh, we made so many mistakes. And even like looking back at how we onboarded gyms, like it was a live call, a live training call that's now a 30-hour course with 7 individual calls, like so different.
So it went from 1 hour to 30 hours?
It was a 3-hour call, okay?
And
But
you led each one?
yeah,
From at the beginning, you were the one
I was
doing-
only one.
And how many do you think you did that way?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
No, but it's similar to us, right? It was like one-on-one, and you're like, my calendar's booked, and
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
there's got to be a better way.
I remember at one point, and I was like, I can't do this alone. And so I talked to my mentor at the time, and he was like, who's the most engaged person in your group? Like the best nutrition coach, hire them to come on board with your team. Like they're running the program really well. So it was this girl, Lindsay. Hired her in 2016. Thank God. She's our chief of staff today. She's absolutely amazing. I don't know what we would do without her. But yeah,
She's our
She's like Arcadia. Yeah.
yeah, just, it's crazy.
That's cool. So we want to talk about quite a few things, right? So like you've got an additional course inside of HSN for the mental health?
Yeah, so.
But before you dig into that, dig into
Yep.
the big picture of what it is today.
Okay, so today we have a turnkey solution for gym owners to build, launch, and grow nutrition coaching programs from the business development side, like how to price, package, structure nutrition programs, to the nutrition coaching side, similar to what you guys have done, really, like the business
And we have
development
a lot
and
of
coach
our clients
development.
working with you.
Right.
Oh, we have a lot of mutual clients,
Yeah.
for sure. And it's great because gyms really need both pieces. Like you need to run your
100%.
gym successfully.
It's the foundation.
And then you need the nutrition component. So we have that, then the app, and there's ongoing coaching and mentoring calls. The gyms that have leaned into everything, I mean, they've increased revenue by 20, 30, even 40% of what they did before. Individual coaching, but then also expanding into partnerships, employee wellness. Like there's some really cool opportunities to impact people that would have never stepped foot inside of your gym. And ultimately, I think we all dedicated our lives to helping people get healthy,
Yeah.
reverse, and prevent chronic disease. So if you can help people that would have never come into your gym, I mean, that really fires me up.
If I would have said Nicole in 2012,
Oh gosh.
where do you think this will go one day? What would have been like, I cannot believe I made it here. It would have been like I have 5 clients. Like I have 10
Yeah.
clients.
Gosh, I was working at the hospital full time.
You were still working a job?
I was full time at the hospital when I started
Doing
helping
RD stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hated my life because it was a revolving door. It's a broken system.
Food pyramid.
Yep. We gave people Insure if they didn't eat 50% of their meal. To teach diabetes education, it was just don't eat more than 60 grams of carbs, but you can have whatever you want. It is, the whole system is so broken, which is really good for us on this side
Yeah.
because
It's like
they're-
fitness, though.
You're like,
They're-
this is great for me.
they're not getting the help they need
Right.
in the traditional system. Like
Keep sending me your clients.
seriously, and I think there's such a cool partnership that can happen between healthcare professionals and gym owners and coaches, because the truth is doctors do not have the time and capacity to provide the tools and resources and accountability that their patients need to prevent and reverse chronic
Or
disease.
the knowledge, right?
The knowledge too.
Right.
All of it.
And I don't know that we're going to unravel that ever because that's all based on insurance, right? So like, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but like I don't foresee that not being the case, which is where people like you come in. This is where gyms come in, is to essentially preemptively solve that problem or try to backtrack people on it.
Wait, she didn't answer.
Oh yeah.
So I remember when we first launched HSN, like the mentoring side, and I remember my husband was in the shower, and I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if we had 50 gyms? And
So you guys were in the shower.
He was in the
together.
shower. I was out of the shower. And I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if we had 50 gyms? And he just like laughed it off and was like, Nicole,
Honey,
you are crazy.
you're being crazy again.
You're crazy.
Yeah, that's
And
insane.
And I'm trying to shower, so
Nope.
get out of here.
Yeah.
Nobody can do that.
And then now we joke about that all the time. I'm like, remember when I said I couldn't get 50
How many
gyms?
affiliates would you guesstimate you've worked with over the last 10 years?
1,000?
Between gym owners and coaches, because there's some gyms that have trained 4 or 5 coaches under our platform, we've helped over 4,000.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
I mean, there's a lot of. The cool thing
I think
is
we're at 4,001, aren't we?
good for you guys.
Basically better than you.
It's fine. We're all doing the same
Now,
thing. We're all
now
helping
your husband
people.
works for you. No? Did I just make that up?
He does work for the company.
Yeah.
I don't know. We work together.
Honey,
I don't know that.
Honey, 50 and one day you're going to be working for me.
He stays in his lane, I stay in my lane.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's the process right now.
That's really cool. So go on, Fern.
I was going to say, I posted something on Instagram, and Nicole was just like, I have thoughts about this. And I was like, I know you do. I know what your thoughts are. But that's actually a good conversation, which is what I had posted was like, hey, like, if I'm not going to be doing that or I'm not good at it, then I'm not going to stand up this program. Not to say that you shouldn't find help. It was more of a decision-making matrix. It was like, is this where my personal energy should be going?
As an affiliate owner?
As an affiliate owner. And I said, if it doesn't check these 3 boxes, then the answer is no. Not no that we shouldn't do it. No, that's not where my energy should be going. But introducing HSN, right?
Okay, so let's talk about that. A gym
Fern
owner.
likes to argue on the internet. Were you arguing with him on the internet?
I just said
Don't
I
do
had
it.
thoughts
You'll
on
lose.
it. I didn't.
I could feel the heat coming through the internet. And I was like, Nicole, we're friends. What are you doing right now?
I still enjoy you. As a gym owner, you're the leader of your tribe. You need to know what your nutrition program is about. You need to understand. You need to get your staff hyped up about it. But you doing the day-to-day roles and tasks of a nutrition coach, likely no matter, even if you are super passionate about it, you're not going to be the one doing all of the day-to-day tasks.
You can't. It's a whole nother business.
It really is. And I think onboarding new gyms that partner with Healthy Steps Nutrition, we require gym owners to go through the training. I didn't do that at the beginning. Like, we require gym owners to understand exactly what the program is so that you can support the person who's doing the day-to-day tasks, who has the boots on the ground. And if you don't know what's going on as a gym owner, how in the heck are you going to get your staff bought in on something that you don't know anything about, let alone get your members?
You cannot have accountability if you don't understand what should be happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that way, this is where, and this is not just in standing up a nutrition program. This is in
Any
anything.
program.
Well, I was just saying, it's no different than what's happening on the floor. Like, you don't have to coach. You don't coach a whole lot of class. That doesn't mean you're a bad coach, but it might be like, all right, I've got the business to worry about. I got 2 L3s out there.
The point is I know what good coaching should look like, and I can go in there and I can say, hey, that we need to tune that up a little bit.
And you still care about it.
For sure. I love it, yeah.
So what percentage of your current affiliates is the owner involved in the actual coaching of nutrition?
Gosh, I would say, this is a really rough guess, but I would say maybe 15 to 20% because they're passionate about it.
They like nutrition.
They don't do fitness coaching, but they love the nutrition piece. We actually hired and brought on a mentor with our program over the past year, and last year she had 50 clients that she was managing herself, plus all the day-to-day stuff. I'm like, you cannot come on our team. Like, that's what she wanted. But I'm like, you can't come on our team and be a nutrition coach handling 50 clients and manage your gym.
You would be terrible at all of them.
You don't have enough time when you're going to burn yourself out. So let's onboard some new coaches to help support the role. And I think a lot of gyms have a nutrition program, and they put all of their energy into sending one person to get through an online course. And what happens is that one person leaves, and then the program leaves with the coach. And if you have the business systems in your CrossFit affiliate and you have a coach to support the role, you're going to set your business up for so much more success. And then you onboard new coaches to support the role of the program.
Mm-hmm. And the truth is,
did you know that Jason ran a nutrition company?
Yeah. Well, Roz is still around. Roz is still doing something. But also from a business owner perspective, it doesn't make sense for you being the one there doing the nutrition, because there's stuff you need to be working on as the owner, and we can put someone in here who now can subsidize their income, potentially be a full-time employee or just work nutrition, and the gym still generates revenue through that.
Yep. Well, when gym owners are involved with nutrition programs, likely that partner with us, it's them setting up employee wellness partnerships. So they're going into the community and talking to banks or captains of the fire department or construction companies, and they're setting up these employee wellness programs, setting it up, and then they have a coach to support the day-to-day role of an employee wellness program, but they're able to generate revenue. They're able to pass on some of that revenue to the person delivering the program. But ultimately, it comes down to the nutrition coach feeling supported.
Right.
To keep them engaged and wanting to continue to do it. And if the owner doesn't know what the heck is going on with the nutrition program, the coach is not going to feel supported, and then they're not going to stay around.
Well, there's an important aspect to that. So there's the supported piece, which I think they need to be. But I also think, going back to you should know what's happening, is keeping them on track. So it's like sometimes supported doesn't mean like you're doing a good job. Sometimes supported means like you're doing a bad job.
Are you doing what you need to do?
You're supposed to be doing, right? You're not actually doing the thing. That is actually supporting, and that's a really hard thing for people to kind of lead, which is like, hey, your job is actually not to give high fives here. Your job is to be like, you can and should be doing this better than you're currently doing it.
And I think that comes from regular QA process systems, like what do check-ins look like? How often do check-ins happen? What exactly is your nutrition coaching program delivering? And if I were to ask most gym owners that have a nutrition program, they probably don't know what is included, how the coach is following up, or anything,
That's one of the,
let alone to keep them accountable.
When someone tells us, I'm like, first of all, whoever's coaching has no idea what they're actually offering it, right? And you're undercharging.
Yep, probably.
I have, anytime, should we sub a nutrition program? I said, I don't know. I have questions. I have a lot of questions. Like, what are you offering? Who's going to be running it? What does that even look like? How are you going to create sustainability? How are you going to promote this? Like, you can't just be like, hey, we're going to offer a nutrition program. Anybody want to buy it? Like, you might get a couple takers, but it's not going to end well.
You need finding the right person to support the role of a nutrition coach is the number one thing that gym owners need to think about if they're wanting to launch a nutrition program. It's why I've been talking about this at every single summit, because I think it's the one thing that holds so many gym owners back. It's not all coaches, not all CrossFit coaches, not all coaches in general make great nutrition coaches. CrossFit coaches became a CrossFit coach because they were passionate about CrossFit.
I would argue most CrossFit coaches wouldn't make a good nutrition coach.
I agree 100%. They need to be passionate about nutrition. They need to be in alignment with your nutrition philosophy. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we focus on whole foods first, eat meats and vegetables, nuts and seeds, unfruit, little starch, minimal added sugar.
Sugar.
I have thoughts on that.
Put a pin in that. I do want to come back to that.
Yeah, because people lost their mind on the internet.
Yeah.
So focus on whole foods, focus on balance, pairing protein, carbs, and fats together, and then limiting the amount of ultra-processed food. That's our philosophy. I'm not going to hire someone and bring someone on my team that is not in alignment with that philosophy. And if you are wanting to build a nutrition program, you need someone that's in alignment with what you're wanting.
Like, would you hire somebody who had a nutrition company and their logo was a donut?
You know?
Sounds smart.
It's interesting. I don't know if we would need to have
tactic.
You didn't say no sugar.
So the soft skills. So when I go out to coffee.
This is where I wanted you to go, yeah.
When I go out to coffee with you and we leave that cup of coffee, do I feel lifted up or do I feel so drained? And I think for a lot of people, if they are feeling so drained, your clients are going to feel that way when they're meeting with their nutrition coach. And that's not how you build a relationship and you help clients make meaningful change. You want people to feel comfortable to open up to you, because no one's perfect. Progress isn't a straight line. You need someone with the soft skills. And if there are some amazing dietitians that I've hired over the years that didn't have that piece of the puzzle. They had the credentials, but they didn't have the soft skills, and they ultimately did not make it on our team for very long because that's a fundamental piece.
And those are the hard ones to teach, too.
Well, yeah. But this is no different than putting a coach on the floor who's, like, technically amazing but watching their class is like watching paint dry, and you're like, this is painful for
And we've seen that. We've had
it's terrible.
Like box owners like, I don't know what it is, and we're like, oh, it's your coaching.
This is not fun.
This is boring.
This is really boring. But and nutrition is actually an amplified version of that
because it's harder. It's all day.
It's hard. It's harder. It's more intimate and it's more emotion filled than exercise is. So it's just like if you have somebody comes in there that's an Eeyore, they're like, you're gonna have zero clients because they're not gonna want to engage with the coach.
Nope.
They're never gonna respond to accountability check-ins or however you have it, and nobody's going to want to purchase services from them because like I don't feel like I'm gonna be able to get that from you because of the vibe that you're giving off right now.
Go to coffee with someone that you want to become a nutrition coach at your gym. And just see, like, how do you feel when you leave that? Do you feel lifted up or do you feel drained? And if you feel drained, then maybe they're having an off day, but if it happens multiple times, then it's not a good fit. Hard stop.
Then they suck.
And the third thing is the follow through. So when you coach a 6 a.m. class, you're done at 7 a.m. Nutrition coaching is
not my gym. 7:15.
Okay, 7:15.
You gotta clean your shit up.
I expect my members to clean their shit up, but okay. So nutrition coaching is still there 23 hours of the day.
Right.
Now, nutrition coaches need systems to be able to manage people and not be an on-call nutrition coach, but you need someone that's good with follow-through. And if you're not good with follow-through, then you're not going to be able to provide the accountability and support that clients need, and then your retention for your nutrition program is not going to be good.
Yeah, you need somebody who falls in they're a doer.
Yeah.
Meaning like, hey, this is like in the military, we call these like a fire and forget. Meaning like, I gave you the task. I'm not worried about did you do it.
Yep.
My job is now to follow up and be like, did you do it to the level that we wanted? Do we need to tweak it? Did you run into problems? But if you have somebody that you constantly like, hey, did you do that? Like, oh, I'm going to get to it. And you're like, hey, did you do that? Like, I'm going to get to it. I'm like, that person is immediately out for this.
Yeah.
Because if they cannot keep themselves accountable, there is zero chance that they are going to keep clients accountable in this process.
Yep. So talk to your coaches. If someone falls and checks the boxes on all three of those things, passion, soft skills, follow through. Okay, great. Move forward. Have a conversation. And I like to do a little test. If we were meeting and you said,
I'm going to pass.
He's not.
and I said, all right, we have this huge opportunity.
Right.
We are going to prioritize nutrition. We're launching this nutrition program. Is this something that you would be interested in? Here are some of the sample things that you would be doing. Would you be interested in it? I want you to think about it, and I want you to send me an email about why you would be interested in it if you would. I do not give a deadline or anything else. And I just want to see, can they follow through with that one task? And then can they think of, like, is it meaningful that they want to do it?
He's not going to email you.
Okay, then perfect. You're not a good fit.
And if he does email
That's
you,
not
it'll be
true.
filled with a lot of grammatical errors.
That is actually 100% accurate.
He's going to make an excuse of why that's...
I would send you an email. It would be grammatically horrifying to most people.
His
but I would
screen is
send you an
cracked.
email.
His screen is cracked.
Yeah, it's because I have fat thumbs. I would follow up. Now, if I wanted to do that, I would be also a very thoughtful.
That's what you need.
I'd be like, hey, here's why. Here's what I think I could provide some value. Here's where I think that we are not doing well in this current thing. And then here's my vision moving forward. If I was like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like when I pitched him and I was like, hey,
What'd you pitch me?
the whole thing, right where we're at right now.
This was my idea.
This was not your idea.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
How fast would you want a response?
Yeah.
How fast would you want to
So what's a pass-fail here?
Yeah.
Well, do we even want to give this away?
Oh, no, because then what if someone's
somebody
watching?
Could play the game here.
Whisper it.
I think you need to see. So there was one gym in Texas that had 4 people, and 3 of them responded within a week. And he's like, Nicole, all 3 of these people I think will be really great nutrition coaches.
A week?
I was thinking over tomorrow. Like if you don't respond within a day.
I would have been within 24 hours.
Yeah.
48. I'll give you 48.
I would say a couple of days.
It would also depend on, number one, the response time, and then B,
thoughtful.
What did the response look like?
Yeah.
Was it just like yes? And I'm like, no.
I think that's a good test. So if someone on your coaching staff, great. But if not, nurses, teachers, social workers make really great nutrition coaches.
Because of the psychological
soft skills that they have. If they have the
manner,
passion, people who've been through their own transformations themselves. We actually right now have doctors, physical.
That's why I was my
PAs.
transformation. I dropped 30 pounds.
That's good.
You need to drop 30 pounds right now.
Same 30, but
it's not the count.
No, but it was, and we've talked about it. I would love, and I think this will play a role in hearing about your mindset. That Fern was saying is in the course, right?
The irony, Dr. Christina is actually right here.
Oh, this is Dr. Christina.
Oh, I felt.
Is she in the course?
I felt this energy coming from over here.
Dr.
Just
Christina,
like,
come here.
picture this: your clients are coming into class and no longer feeling daunted by new movements or being intimidated because it's their first class. With Wodify, coaches can insert technique videos right into the Wodify mobile app so that clients can come to class gleaming with excitement instead of being freaked out and intimidated by things that they don't know how to do. Empower your clients with knowledge they need to thrive in their workouts while reducing the risk of injury. Give your clients a world-class workout experience from start to finish. Transform your gym's experience with Wodify. Visit wodify.com/podcast now and claim 50% off your first 3 months. Elevate your gym, empower your clients, and stay steps ahead with Wodify.
So I heard her speak at a CrossFit summit back in, was it 2 years ago?
Where was it? Which was it?
It was in Florida. And I was like, she has a message that I think more gym owners need to hear. So I didn't know what that would look like at that point, but I'm like, we're going to work together. I don't know what it looks like, but let's do something.
Did she get back to you quickly?
Oh, immediately. Homegirl is on it.
Where's Cody?
It's on. You're good. Yeah, I had to unmute it.
Okay.
So what was the message?
So basically talking about why you need to prioritize mental health for yourself and for your coaches and in your gym. And there's so many people that have been struggling with mental health. Her background is mental health.
Okay,
what's your
introduce
credential?
yourself.
So I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist,
Okay.
and I have a doctorate in psychology. I've been a clinician for over 20 years, and then I'm also an affiliate owner, a level 2 CrossFit
Where's your
trainer.
box? What box?
CrossFit Tailwinds in Jacksonville, Florida.
Shirt right here. Yep.
Cool. What did you say? Licensed?
Marriage and family therapist, so
Yeah.
licensed mental health professional.
Jay needs all of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Can I
we
get a whole package?
We
With throw
specialize in
nutrition in?
relationships and systems.
So, yeah.
So you hear her
Yep.
kind of address this. Oh, can you elaborate on that? I would like to hear, and I'm sure the viewers would like to hear. Like when
He
you
needs help too. That's why.
I do.
We all need help.
Yeah. So when you're talking to affiliate owners, like what is the message that you're conveying?
So it's a couple things. One, prioritizing yourself, your own self-care and your own mental health so that you can reduce burnout and you can show up and be a good leader because it starts with you.
What's the definition of mental health?
Oh gosh. Well, that is our emotions, our thoughts, and our behaviors, how those influence our day-to-day stress and response and functioning. Generally speaking, that's pretty much our mental
That's
health.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Mental health is health.
It's a part of our health.
Well, you can't, and that's interesting because tying
Can't
it into
separate the two,
CrossFit,
yeah.
like, we don't talk about mental health
No.
at the level 1 or at the level 2,
It should be.
right? Maybe
No,
it's-
not really.
Yeah.
Well,
but it's a huge
not
component.
mental
like,
health, no.
Can you be fit? And then ultimately, health, we talk about, work capacity across broad time, multiple domains, duration
your
of your life without mental health.
No. Because
Ooh,
there are
I like
mental
that.
health
Is
markers.
that a no? Like a hard no?
It's a hard no
if
because
whoever wins this weekend comes back and is like, mentally,
depression.
I'm depressed. Like, are they still fit?
But are they the best versions of themselves?
But that's not the definition. That's not our definition of fitness, right? But I get it. No. I mean, I agree. Like, but it's an interesting topic
Yeah.
that I think should be addressed these days because not that mental health wasn't important pre-pandemic, say. It's just more top of mind and at the forefront post-pandemic.
because mental health still has a very strong stigma attached to it. And when we talk about mental health, we're typically looking at mental illness. And that's what comes to most people's mind rather than the fit side of mental health, which is the best version of yourself.
Yeah, happy. Just be happy.
There are markers. There are mental health markers that we can actually screen. We can test. We use these assessments in the mental health community.
What would some of those be?
Just for example, the PHQ-9. It's a over.
No, the PHQ-9.
Yeah, it's a.
You know that one?
It's a well-being assessment.
Mine's 100, so is that good?
We would give you an assessment, and we would ask
Do
you
it right
to,
now.
to score
Do it.
yourself.
Give me it.
I mean, I don't have it. It's an actual
Oh, it's a
true
test?
assessment.
Yeah.
I feel
You
like
can screen for depression,
So
anxiety.
for instance, the PHQ-9, like, can you give an example of like what would
Exactly.
be the things like questions that would be asked in there that would
How
start
well
to
how much do you like your business partner, things like that?
Yeah, right, exactly. No.
0%.
It's mild, moderate, high, and we kind of see how people fall.
It's
Okay.
like you would like an
It's a
SAT is
self-assessment.
not a good
It's
one,
a
but
tool.
it's like on
It's
a,
a tool
on a
that mental
computer,
health professionals,
like a
psychologists,
personality type test you would take.
along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's another assessment tool. So we can actually see people, improving their overall well-being through the treatments that we provide, and also declining. What's the baseline, and then how do you do after we've worked with you for a little bit?
Give us an example of the treatments.
So we have a number of modalities that are used in the mental health field. We use, cognitive behavioral therapy, EMDR. It just depends on what type of topic you're working with.
Right.
And what
But you're not
specialization.
jumping to like medication.
So medication's a different side of the mental health world, and that's another thing that's a stigma that's attached. Is that people just assume when we talk about mental health treatment, we're immediately talking about
Gonna
putting you on
medicate,
medication.
Right.
And the truth is that what we have been talking about and what we've been pushing in the last 2 years since Nicole and I have been working together is there are so many things that you can do to improve your mental health. And in the last
Exercise
decade,
probably being the
Exercise.
number one.
Meditate,
Having a
nutrition,
hobby.
breathe, right?
all these things that
Have a
can improve your
podcast.
mental health.
But
Socialization.
And
we
it
would
sounds
call
to me
that.
like fitness, right? Where it's like, hey, I've got type 2 diabetes. Here's meds. Or let's
It's
talk
just
about
managing
meats,
the
vegetables,
symptoms.
nuts. Right.
Yeah.
You're just managing symptoms at that point. Now, there are people who truly do need medication, and we don't want to negate that, and we certainly want
It's a
to
real thing.
help them create a baseline that we can help establish to work with them from. But that's not the long-term goal. We
Right.
want to get them stabilized and then show them lifestyle, habits. It comes back to that.
Yeah. I think I'm glad we're having this conversation for multiple reasons, but
Glad
I think
I showed up.
yeah. But no, but I think it's important. It's I would, and chime in here, Jay, like, and you could chime in here too because you deal with a lot of affiliate owners as well. Like, it's not a small hurdle, meaning like just working with small business owners at large, many of them are coming to the table and they're like, we'll call them like mentally are struggling with things, right? They're unhappy, they're burnt out. And I'm like, we can't overlook the fact this is not a small aspect of what you need to change. It can't be, it's like, yes, you need systems, you know, you do all this. Like, we need to address like you. The number of times we get down to something, I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with my business. And I'm like, it's you. Like, you are the problem. Like, you are not a problem. You are not dealing with your own problems. And then you show up to the business and introduce those there.
No, and then I think whether it's an affiliate owner or any entrepreneur, like you've probably had bouts like we have where it's like, I'm so busy, I haven't worked out, and I've been lazy with my, I like to tell people, like, you're going to eat, so just choose better foods. But it's easier sometimes to choose lower quality foods, right? Yeah. So you have to take care of yourself first.
And I think that was essentially the message she said a couple years ago. And so we started doing a podcast, and then, we did a couple podcast episodes. We did a webinar. And then after that, we decided, like, hey, let's release a mental fit and mindset course together. Started with, like, our community, and now it's out in the public. And
so this is a CEU course inside of CrossFit.
You could buy this separate of HSN.
Yep, and it just got approved for CrossFit CEUs. Mike actually was able to announce it.
How many?
We're
7.
super excited.
7 CEUs?
Mike, your friend of Mike G.
Mike G.
I'm going to need some CEUs. I got to take something. I'll take that.
Yeah, so super excited. Yeah. It was really cool. So Christina spoke at the...
Is that live? If like ever go into the continuing education page or the online courses, is it up there now?
It should
so
be.
People can
and
go
we
check
got Mike G.
Yeah.
If not, you can definitely find it on Nicole's
site.
Okay, got it. Okay.
But
cool.
it should be because it was approved.
What's the actual title of the course?
Mental Fit and Mindset course.
Mindset. Okay. Cool.
What was really cool is we hosted an event last month, and
that was the one in Nashville.
The one in Nashville.
The one we weren't invited to.
Yeah, we would.
Next year. We already talked about
next year, guys.
Andrew said we should go, but we're invited.
You guys are definitely invited. Okay, so her breakout session was the most attended breakout session.
I believe it.
Gym owners want to learn about this.
Partially because we weren't there.
Gym owners want to learn more about this. They want to prioritize mental health for themselves, for their coaching staff. I mean, think about it. How many coaches leave because they're burnt out? They're not taking care of themselves. How many gym owners
or the members get burnt out because you're a crazy gym owner screaming at them.
All of it.
Yeah.
It's true. It happens.
Yeah, we're excited.
I've done it multiple times to people. For sure. Like when you're just like, what do you mean you don't want to work out 7 days a week and eat paleo? It's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to learn, not everyone's there.
Meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the most fascinating thing about that was afterwards the people that came up and said, hey, thank you for talking about this. Thank you for shedding light on this. Thank you for
saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, the thing we've all been thinking, but no one's wanted to say. I've been afraid to talk about this with my members, with my staff. And it's a relief for them. It's like
one of the most responded to podcasts we've ever done was a podcast was just, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Just talking about it, be like, listen, not everybody, like it is a fallacy that everybody's just like waking up motivated as hell. They're like, I can't wait to go. Like half the time, if things are going well, and I'm like, I want to burn this place down. I'm like, this place is a dump. But it's going well, and we had like Louis, for instance, there. He's just like, we got our mastermind like right around the same time. And Lou's crushing it at Cal Harbor, and he's up there, and he's just like, I just don't feel like he's doing a good job. And I stopped the whole group, and I said, bro,
you're doing a great job.
You're doing a fantastic job, and I want to tell you that in front of the group because you need to know that. And he left there, he's just like, I never thought of myself that way. And I'm like, that's a huge deal, man.
Do you think? Go ahead, Nicole.
There's a book called The Gap and the Gain. And it talks about how we're always looking at the gap of like how far we want to go instead of looking at the gain of like how far we've come. Like we started this podcast, Nicole, where were you in 2012? Like definitely not where we are here. And I think sometimes like we need to physically make a list of like all the wins that we've had, and when we're having those tough moments, like go back and read those things. Like look at that, and it'll get you motivated again to be like, okay, I can keep pushing through. Like, gosh, owning a gym is hard.
This is a huge component, and Mark England is a huge component. This is why we start every call that we do, no matter what it is, whether it's internal, one-on-one, small group, large group, with wins. Every call starts with wins.
Yep.
We want people to start focusing on the wins because it's really easy to focus on all the negative shit because there is a ton of it going on.
Well, and also, this day and age, it's easy to only see others' wins.
Yep.
Right? And no one affiliate owners, they're not posting, oh, I lost 3 members and I'm upset. They're like, I'm up 12 this month, right? We talk about the same concept in jiu-jitsu a lot, because at some point, you're a purple belt, a brown belt, a black belt. It's like, you're still comparing yourself to these guys. You don't know how many people dropped out since you started as a white belt? Yeah. Like, you just don't see them anymore, but you've stuck it out. You've really risen. And it's good that, whether it's Louis or some of the people you're working with, making sure they focus on that.
Same thing with nutrition clients. Like, start off the consultations, the follow-up visits with the wins. It's so easy for us to look at the things that we're not doing right, but we got to focus on the positive to keep us motivated, to keep doing the things.
That's very cool.
So, talking 7 CEUs, how long is it? Is it videos? What's the course itself like?
So there's online modules set up really similar to the other HSN mentoring courses in regards to online modules, same learning platform that we use for all of those. And then it wraps up with a call from either Dr. Christina or someone on her team. So there's an individual call to help with application. We're now working on, which is something we're going to work on after this, creating programs in the app so people can do like a MentalFit and nutrition challenge, or a 12-week program. So that there's that mental health component in the nutrition coaching program that will only be available for people who've taken the course with Christina.
And can affiliate owners sign up and have their coaches take it?
There's an individual, and we actually haven't done this part before with HSN. So there's an individual subscription, and then there's a group subscription. So you could all do it as a staff, which would be
I think that
really
would be cool. That'd be really
Well, this is a
really
great, intro, because we talk about, hey, I can teach anyone how to coach a squat, but I can't teach them to, not be an asshole, right? Or be pleasant to be around. But this is the kind of first step in that, hey, here's presence and attitude, a course, right? Because really presence and attitude is not only just being loud and boisterous, but it's like, hey, how are you? And connecting with you. That's what we talk about at the level 2. It's like checking in. So this is teaching people the soft skills
For sure.
of coaching.
That's cool.
But it also brings to light any barriers, right? When we learn about this, it's like, oh, well, what are my personal mental barriers, my mental health barriers, and what do I need to do to take care of myself? Because we get into this, we're all passionate, but we know passion and motivation only last so long, right?
Shelf life, baby. Shelf
we
life.
start to die down after that 4th, 5th year, and we're tanking and we're hitting that burnout stage. So really bringing to light how important it is to take care of yourself, what to look for when you're hiring, and how to take care of your coaches, and how to translate that into your affiliates and with your gym members, how to talk about it, and when it comes up, because it's going to come up, because we are, like you mentioned, post-COVID, we're riding this tsunami wave of mental health issues.
It's wild.
And it's getting wild, and owners and coaches are not equipped for it. And I've heard that from them time and time again, I don't know what to do with that. And so we want them to feel comfortable and confident on what to do when that presents itself, because it's a liability. We are responsible for their physical and their mental safety.
Well, as you're saying that, I'm thinking through consults that I was doing, post-COVID, and some of the things people said when they walked in. I was like, oh, I was not ready for that.
It's scary.
And just, and just as a professional, how do I continue to stack skills on skills on skills? And knowing some of this information, just think about the difference between somebody who shows up, who has that information, who's prepared to have that conversation, even at a cursory level.
Yes.
And how much better of an experience that is for somebody who's really struggling to start this fitness journey. And you're sitting there and you're like, I got you, we're good. Yeah. Versus just oh, I have no idea what to say to that right now. That's the difference between somebody who sticks around for 5 years or for somebody who tries it for 3 weeks and this isn't for me.
Retention is a big piece of the puzzle when you're addressing mental health, for sure. And also having, you talk a lot about having a network of healthcare professionals. So you're not a licensed mental health practitioner. Know your boundaries, know your scope, and then have people to refer to hey, sounds like what you're going through is really heavy.
Right.
Here's a list of people that we've talked to, that we've vetted, and see who might be the right fit for you.
Yeah, I think that's really, really cool. Well, good for you guys.
Like nutrition, we had talked about hey, being in your journey or on your journey and going through it helps. Do you find with this, if someone has struggled in the past, they become better coaches when it comes to mindset?
Well, we've all struggled in the past, whether we want to admit it or not. In my opinion, the world would be a better place if we were all in therapy at some point in our lives. But yes, those people who have addressed it and have said, hey, I was there once and this is what I did for myself. Just like the physical transformation, we go through those mental transformations. I mean, there's nothing like it. It's this whole side of freedom you've never experienced. And it's really easy to then be able to give back. Like once we give to ourselves, then we're in a better position to give back to others. And that goes with the physical and the mental health side of us. And so this is, I'm a person who's done that myself. I actively work on my mental and my physical health. It's all a part of that checklist that we talk about: nutrition, mental health, physical care, all those different things. And when you're practicing what you preach, you become authentic.
That's where I was going to go with that.
Like, will believe you. They will buy into what you're saying. It's
but
totally
also you're
business.
helping remove that stigma when somebody comes in. They're like, hey, and I'm like, hey, have you guys
100%.
considered, like, either whether it's marriage or something, like, have you considered therapy? And they're like, well, and I'm like, you should do it. Like, it's worth it. So
I didn't. I mean, a few years ago, I was struggling with mental health after COVID. Just there's a lot of pressure, The growth things, every goal that I had kind of was put on the back burner a little bit. And when I heard her, it came at the perfect season where I had been going to therapy. And then I was like, wow, I needed this. I got the help that I needed, and more gym owners need this. And I think that's probably why I connected with her so much at that
right
summit.
timing. Well,
it was because it was
good
like
timing.
I had been through my own struggle and was like, okay, more people are not getting the help they need. We need to put you on a platform.
Something you just said that's important for affiliate owners to hear, like struggling and things are somewhat plateaued because I need to work on myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of affiliate owners just never, they're like, if I'm not growing, I'm dying. Look at you now. Had you not taken that break, who knows if you wouldn't have this connection, you wouldn't have necessarily grown HSN. And I think a lot of bringing up Louis, it's like, dude, you're pulling in more money than you've ever made. You have more members. Like, breathe.
Yeah.
Then we'll go to that next rung.
Sometimes growth, I think there's just growth obviously has the visual component of I see something get bigger. And I'm like, well, sometimes growth doesn't mean it, sometimes it just means it was easier. Like, I didn't actually, move the needle anywhere. I'm just, not trying as hard, right?
Right, if you did 3-minute Fran
and you did it in 2
almost
minutes.
died. No, but even if you did 3-minute again and you're like, cool, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, you're fitter.
You're better.
Right. Same thing with, with this thing. It was just oh, I'm not stressed out by this thing that would have, I talk about this all the time. Like, hey, he's just like, hey, I'm proud of myself. I would have freaked out about this 2 years ago.
We had a call the other day.
And I was like, I'm actually proud of you, too.
But
I don't
that
want
was
to tell anybody,
growth.
but
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we
Just
call
saying
that
it.
capacity, psychological tolerance,
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I think people don't look at it that way, and that's an important piece of it. It's like, oh, I'm able to handle this much better now. Where I handled it before, it was a disaster. Like, we made it to the finish line, but now I'm like, oh, that's kind of not a big deal to me
That's
right
growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, go back. What did you say? You were proud of me?
now. No.
Did you say that?
No. Yeah.
Did you
I heard
catch
it.
that?
I heard it.
Replay it right. No, I'm excited to take this because I think this is the missing link, and I'm gonna be very transparent. Can I be transparent on the show?
No.
I struggle helping people in this, and I think we were talking a little bit about it. I won't get too deep because I'll get canceled. But I struggle because sometimes I'm just like, suck it up, right? And I know that's not the answer.
Yeah.
But I know that was my upbringing, right? And I think that's
just
part
deal
of
with
it,
it.
right?
Figure it out.
But Roz, my wife, and I did a counseling session, and the counselor was like, "Hey, Roz, when things would go on in your life, what would you talk about?" And she was like, "Yeah, my mom, and my dad," and she was like, "And Jason, what about you?" I was like, "Oh, we didn't do that."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, what about one time?" I was like, "Never." I was like, to this day, my parents were never like, "Hey, remember when your high school girlfriend broke up with you after you lost a wrestling match? How did you feel?" I was like, I was in my room dealing with it. I don't know. So a lot of it's
It's cultural.
Upbringing.
yeah.
It's upbringing.
And
it's
this
cultural.
generation, I think, is changing. 'Cause even the way I deal
Yeah.
with my daughter, every night she's 2, she doesn't understand. But I'm like, I'm proud of you for whatever you give her an example.
That's awesome.
And she says it back, right? She's like, I'm
There's
proud of you,
nothing
Daddy.
like that.
Yeah.
When your
And I'm
kids
like, oh,
tell you
thanks.
that, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
my kids tell
She
me
doesn't
all
know
the
what
time.
she's saying, for the
But
record.
still, it's a great thing to
But
hear.
I'm trying to change that. But I think this is interesting because I think there's a lot of men like me where it's like, hey, suck it up. And that's
Well,
not the answer.
So there's a big stigma, even not just with mental health, but men's mental health. Why? Because for so long we've told boys, don't cry, suck it up.
I heard
more
boys don't
so,
cry, but men do.
Men do. I'd make men cry.
Oh.
I've made men cry. But in the best way, you
Yeah.
know, because they've never had the opportunity to feel that emotion. And if you're a human, you have emotions. If you've never felt them, it doesn't mean you don't have them. We just haven't tapped into them yet. Because emotion is how we help to regulate ourselves. And we have to have emotions and tap into them so we learn how to self-regulate, which makes it us able to co-regulate other people in our lives. So when you interact with other people, you're co-regulating, you're attuning to their needs. And if you can't do that, it's because you lack the self-regulation. You can't then attune to what their needs are and catch on to that. You don't have that ability because you don't do that. You're not aware of it.
It's like child rearing, right? It's just adults. But like, I need to be there for you, and to some extent, I also need you to be able to deal with it when I'm not there. But I need to be able to understand what you need, how to give it to you.
Right. And if
more.
you've never been taught that, how are you going to then tell someone else what they, I'm going to give you what you need. You never.
Yeah, I don't know what you need.
You don't know.
Because I don't know what I need.
Correct.
This is a really
We just had a breakthrough.
You did. You guys did. Yeah. Jay.
All right, and we're back.
And we're back.
I was
That
like,
the session.
I was
Was
in
it
it.
good?
I was in it.
This is but this is
PQ9.
the other thing that's important about this is the carryover here. So like, how many times have we gotten the question be like, hey, this member doesn't want to listen or whatever, and I'm like, you're not reading this person correctly. Like, you lack the tools to be like, oh, Nicole's upset about something, not about me or this workout. Like, how do I navigate this scenario?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like what you're helping essentially is like helping to expand or develop essentially emotional intelligence. But it starts with your own emotional intelligence. Like, oh, I'm upset right now. I shouldn't use that language, or I shouldn't say certain things, or I should maybe take a second before I respond to that. And then you learn that, and then you see it in other people. And what it does is it creates patience for you to deal with them, and then they get on board with what you're doing. And we get this probably one of the top questions that we get when coaches are struggling. They're like, people just don't listen. And I'm like, oh, okay. This tells me you're not attuned to like your own emotions, because you can't recognize it and you can't regulate it for yourself. Therefore, you can't help them regulate.
Right. And we will mislabel behaviors often because they present themselves in different ways. So you might be like, oh my God, that guy's an asshole. But really, that guy is really just struggling with anxiety, and you don't know how to call it that because you don't know what to look for.
Right.
And so teaching people like how we need to ask more questions before we jump to the conclusion of,
you're
I
an
got,
asshole.
an asshole here. Yeah. It's like, no, but what's going on behind
What's
that?
really
What
going
are they
on there?
experiencing? And if we ask those, we'll get to the answer and be like, all right, now we need to get you the help that you need, because it's more than that.
Yeah,
Everyone's
there's
got
to be a
something going
breakthrough
on.
that has to happen.
Correct.
Well, and we're guilty of that, because if a client says that to us, we're like, have you sat down and talked like that? We
just ask
understand
them
that.
what's going on.
But at the same time, they're not equipped to do that. But if they say like, hey, take this course, now they're more equipped when we say, go grab coffee with this person. Like, we're not that far removed from dogs, right? Dogs don't want to misbehave. And humans, if you're like, you're an asshole, they'd be like, I didn't want to be an asshole. Right? Like, I'm not trying to be.
My son is.
Your son is
He's special.
an exception.
Yeah.
But
No,
you're right.
he's
They'd
great.
be like, oh, I didn't know. But it takes you breathing and not being like, she's a turd. Like, why is she being a turd? And not even being a turd. What can I do to help her?
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you see this? Look at this.
Look at this.
Listen,
Look at this.
You're
You guys-
evolving. You're growing.
I'm
going to have to
growing.
pay you for this.
On this show.
We just had a
On this
session.
show. It's because he said he was proud of me.
Yeah, I misspoke. I was talking about something else. Okay, so I want to go back to HSN. So you made this co-course, but then,
Yep.
so let's kind of loop that back into one of the biggest things that you help gym owners with, which is we were talking about it before, which is like identifying the right person.
Yeah, so you need the right person to become your nutrition coach, and I would recommend within 3 to 6 months of launching a nutrition program that you have a second person to support that role, so that your
That soon.
entire business is
Okay.
not revolved around one person.
person.
Because what if that person
leave.
leaves or gets
Well, they
pregnant
will.
or
So
whatever?
actually, they will leave
Yeah.
eventually.
So then what
Like,
happens?
If we take the timeline out long enough, like that is inevitable. Like that will happen. So we should just plan for that now.
And the truth is if we're working together, we're going to be able to split some of the behind the scenes tasks, like the content that needs to be made to push out, that we're talking about nutrition, the nutrition talks that hopefully we're doing every single month, and just getting more nutrition information out there so that our business, when people think of our CrossFit affiliate, they're thinking about nutrition, they're thinking about CrossFit, they're thinking about accountability. There's stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And
A lot. That's where most of the work happens.
we give gym owners the nutrition tips, the email content, the video scripts, but someone needs to make them on your team.
Right.
So if Christina and I are both nutrition coaches, she might be more passionate about working with performance athletes. And I might be more passionate working with busy moms. So then I can have more of the ideal clients that I love to work with. She can have more of the ideal clients that she loves to
No
work
different
with.
than coaching on the floor.
And then
Like,
we're
you wanna-
all happy.
Yeah.
Teens, adults,
The 6 a.m., the
competitive
9
people,
a.m.
right.
Yeah, all of it.
So, I think building a nutrition team, then you collaborate together, and then you have more buy-in.
It's fun.
It's more fun.
Doing anything with a team is more fun. Going
Agreed.
back to the mental health, it's
yeah.
like, I know people are like, I'm a loner, I like to do everything by myself. And I'm like, that's not true.
No.
We were
That's
meant
not
to
true.
be in
I like-
community.
Human beings
I
are
prefer
pack. He's the outlier, actually. No, but human beings, they're pack animals. Always have been, always will be. I don't care what anybody
You don't know
says.
there always will be. To
We're
be fair.
hardwired for two things, like right out of the gate:
Well, tell us.
connection and survival.
Right.
We're social creatures.
It's-
We always have been. Why we did so bad with COVID?
Oh, brother,
Yeah.
look who's here.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
No, but I think you're right. But again, going back to like building that team, that's a huge component of that. Which is Do you find that people that have multiple coaches are significantly more successful than not? Obviously, the
Yeah.
numbers would dictate that. But I like the fact that you're preemptive about that.
I was not until the past, I would say 18 months. We switched the onboarding process to include 2 coaches plus the owner to go through the initial training.
Was there something that prompted that?
I talk to every single gym that leaves HSN, and I have since day one. I want to know
Exit interviews?
what we can do better, how we can improve. I know it's not going to help you, but if I can start making some changes
But
to
I'm sure
improve
you've
the
kept
program.
somebody.
Oh, yeah. And they come back. Like, I keep that door open. Like, and 9.5 times out of 10, the reason why gyms left is because their coach left and they don't have the capacity or the passion to
There's
do
no
nutrition
backup.
coaching. And it took me way too long to say, all right, we need to change the model here so that we're essentially training a second coach
Building
to
in
get
redundancy.
What if they
up
don't
and
have
running.
2 coaches?
Then my recommendation is get up and running with one person, which is what we recommend in general unless you have 300 plus members. Get up and running with one person, and within 3 months you find someone that's a good fit. Have them be a client of yours to experience the program, learn a little bit about what the ins and outs are, and then
Yeah, they need
have
to know how
them
the sausage is made. Yeah.
yeah, and then come and go through the training process, which includes online modules, mentoring calls, and then everyone that becomes a nutrition coach using HSN is actually coached by us for 6 weeks.
In their own nutrition.
Want them to experience the program, initial consultations, follow-up visits, weekly check-ins, the app. I want you to experience the whole program from a client's perspective so that you can more confidently deliver the gold standard in your own gym.
And that's baked into the price of HSN.
Yep.
That's really
And then
cool.
if someone's currently in HSN, is the mindset course included now?
No, so it's a separate course that
Just
they
a
would.
separate course.
Yep.
That was just
Yeah.
something that you two built together.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
But and
Yep.
how many CEUs do you get if you go through yours?
30 initially, and then
Wow.
9 every 6 months.
For as long as they stay in it.
Yep.
30 initially. So and what do you need these days for your 35?
35, I think.
So
is,
if
well,
they stay
no,
within it,
the renewal is less. I don't actually know if your initial.
but
is
point
35.
is, it's probably
it's lower.
very
but,
good bang for your buck as far as CEUs go.
I mean,
yeah.
whatever. Like that's just part of the education game. People shouldn't be looking at it for the C's. Like you should
Fine.
be looking at it as just being a professional. Like be good at your
Sure, but it's a one-stop shop. You learn all that. You get your CEUs.
You
that's cool.
absolutely get to check the box and like I don't have to worry about this anymore. But it's like you should be pursuing this because like I'm going to be a better professional at
All
this.
right. So tell me one thing. Were you going to say something, Nicole? Tell me one thing you learned helping affiliates and coaches that you didn't think you'd deal with in mindset in the affiliate world.
One thing that I learned,
Yeah, something you're like, wow, I didn't expect this.
well, one thing I didn't expect was for people to be as interested in mental health as much as I am. Like they actually are really excited and
Like, tell me what's wrong with me.
And I was like, oh, I could talk about this all day, sure. So I think that was both, refreshing because there is a place for mental health in gyms and it should be a part of our professional training and what we do, as well as, just something that's been missing for a really long time. So.
Well, I mean, I as you're saying that, I'm like going through my Rolodex of just 14 years of owning a gym. If I was to go back and canvas everybody that ever canceled from my gym, there's obviously like I moved.
And then the women you dated.
No. I would be willing, I'd be willing to bet that a high percentage, more than 3/4 of the people that left the gym were because they were dealing with something that I was not capable of helping them with. Like
Well, you're also not aware of because
Or
they
aware
didn't
of.
feel comfortable talking about it.
Right, but that's my
Sure.
point.
Yeah.
Is like
Yeah.
this whole thing. Like they're not inseparable. They don't work independently
No.
of each other. And this is something to think about. I'm like, because we talk about it. We're like, oh, like they're struggling and they weren't showing up. They had some sort of excuse, like whatever. Name it. We could probably pre-populate all of those answers. And I'm like, oh, how do we start to preemptively address these things and have those conversations so they don't get negative with themselves, and then they're like, well, I missed 5 days, so I might as well just quit working out altogether. And you're like, oh my God, like how did you even come to that conclusion? But it's just like exactly what we're talking about. Like they're in a different mental headspace than I am. They're not aware of it. How do I start to pull back the curtain a little bit, educate them? Hey, here's how you deal with some feelings. If you're saying this, like, it's not weird. That's actually very normal. Because I think a lot of people like feel like failures. Because like I shouldn't feel this way, and I'm like, that's not how feelings work. Number one. But that's normal. Here's how you start to work on that or address that.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up in like the motivation and the gains in the beginning, and you're feeling on this high and you're seeing all these results physically, and then when the thing that's been plaguing you that you were able to kind of push in the back of your mind for a while comes back up, and you realize despite all of your physical efforts and transformation, you're still left with that, or the stress comes and there's some kind of flare-up, a mental flare-up, if you will. You realize that you cannot out-train poor mental health. And that has been my biggest thing. So back to the point you made earlier about being the fittest, there are lots of people, and I'm sure you can think of examples, where we realize no matter how physically fit you are, when you're still left with those mental barriers, whether it be previous traumas or just adverse experiences that you have not been able to deal with, and you reach that capacity and you don't really have a high one because you haven't done the work to train it as much as you've done the work to train your physical capacity, it catches up to you.
Well, now,
and then it hits you.
And you're using fitness now as an outlet, but in an unhealthy manner.
Correct.
Where like
So
now
you
you're using it as a coping mechanism now, which is not what it is intended for. And now now I'm not seeing results. And like your stress is up. You're not using this correctly. You're not resting the way that you should. Like we did a podcast with where Caroline was just like, I told him that like the number one thing Jeff Adler in the games was like, you need to take a nap. You need to sleep more, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna get here without like proper sleep. And I'm like, right. These are the
we
things
know
we're talking
sleep
about.
affects your mental health and your
Sleep,
cognitive abilities.
yeah, these are all things. They're not sexy to talk about, but the ROI on these things is huge.
It comes down to addressing a holistic coaching program in your gym. Like, yes, of course, you talk about nutrition, but if you're doing nutrition right, you're also addressing sleep, mindset, support system, lifestyle, the other things. Because the truth is, nutrition coaching isn't really about what you eat. Yes, people need to understand the foundation, but really it's about all the other factors that are influencing nutrition decisions.
And that's what we were talking about this morning. It's just like the decision-making process.
Well,
like, do I eat that or do I eat something else?
We're talking, and that's right, because
Oh, gosh.
don't get me.
Don't do it.
I struggle with it sometimes because I'm like, I don't want to eat right. Right? And it's like
I mean,
a
your
decision.
logo was a donut.
Yeah, that's true. But even then, it's like, okay, do you think I want 1? No, I want 3. I want 5. I want 6, right? So every day it's a decision to eat right. And it's a challenge because you see people that are, struggling is not the right word, but it's like, they're clearly not eating right. Right? And it's like, and then I'm on my journey or this or that. I'm like, this shit is hard. And it's a daily decision. And it's okay that it's hard, but you have to start making some better decisions.
As a coach, you have to help your clients make the healthy choice the easy choice. So like taking out some of the things that they might be super tempted to walk by if they're working from home and walk by and grab mindlessly. If we can help our clients make the healthy choice the easy choice, they're going to be more consistent and they're going to see better results.
Right, you can have dessert, not at home. How's that? Cool, like, to start,
Have
right?
a treat
Because
and
now
then
it's not
move
at
on.
home. But no, but like you're saying, Nicole, you have dessert tonight, some Oreos, because the rest of the pack in there that I'm gonna have tomorrow or the next day.
You're
Where
gonna
it's
walk
like,
by
hey,
it
I can
every
have
single
ice cream
day.
over there out. At
I'm going to eat them all
Cold
because
Stone.
I finished what I start.
But,
gosh.
No, and I think when you've struggled with it, I don't say overcome it, but work through it, your expectation is, well, like, you can do it, which isn't always the case.
When you coach clients with nutrition, there's a lot of things that we as coaches might assume that our clients don't necessarily know. Like if we're talking about a balanced breakfast, What is a balanced breakfast? Do you have that stuff at home? What recipe
Most
are you
people
going
have
to
no
make?
clue.
When are you going to make it? Like, all of the little steps need to be addressed. And as coaches, sometimes we just assume that, and then our clients aren't able to get over the hump of like actually making that thing happen. So when we can slow down and actually help them plan out everything, they're going to be exponentially more successful, and then they're going to be engaged because they're doing the thing, they're excited that they're doing the thing,
because they're getting results.
and more bought in that they're getting results, and it's going to increase revenue for your gym. So it's like
Which makes the
a win.
gym healthier, which allows you to fulfill at a higher level, and then that it now becomes a cycle. Now people are getting better results, or faster, or more people, but it just all goes back into that whole process. Like, yeah, it starts with you, and then I need to build that in, and then make sure that I'm addressing all of it.
Yep.
You know, it's obviously we need to train, we need to move, we need to eat better, we need to think about, you know, who's in my tribe.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's a
All of
huge
those
piece.
things, those are all components that have either both negative or positive impacts on what are going in. And all of us have probably gone through a scenario in which you're like, hey, you know what would probably be best for me right now is like removing people from my circle.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we do
I tried to remove her.
an
Inners?
inventory cleanse,
You go-
an inventory check in the
With
course.
people?
Well, so part of in the course, one of the activities is to take an inventory, people, places, and things, and look at, and does it serve your goal, and what needs to be removed, and when you can put that all out and kind of get an idea of like, hey, what's in my life, you can clearly see what some of those barriers are and why you're not getting to some of your goals.
How do I
Because
get
it's
rid
gotta
of
go.
the partner that doesn't do a lot?
Who, Marcus?
That's a bigger conversation. Might need some couples counseling.
I'll pay you. I'll pay you. That's very cool. What else are you excited about? What else is coming up?
Traveling more of the summits.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys are going to a few of them. So
We got Cincinnati coming up.
yep, I'll be at that
Boston.
one. I'll be at that one, and then we're actually going back overseas. So
When?
heading to Berlin in December, Stockholm in January, the UK.
I think we're going to Germany in September.
Cool. Yeah. So traveling, getting out, talking to more gym owners. Excited about that. We have
Is there any difference in this stuff internationally?
So the gyms that run our program internationally, if they're not in an English-speaking country, they got to translate some stuff. We do have gyms in Italy that do really well. Ecuador. We had a Russian gym use the program. They all
Is vodka
did.
included in those? That's
Gosh,
not
I-
part of the macros.
No.
Vodka, cigarettes.
I mean, they do really well. It's just more work for them to translate
Yeah.
some of the stuff. I'm headed to Berlin, and Christina is actually going to go in my place and do the North Carolina summit in December.
That's in December, right?
Yeah,
In, in Raleigh. Is that
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Divide and conquer.
Yep.
So,
I love it.
all good
Very
things.
cool.
Teamwork's
Cool.
the dream work.
How about with
Yep.
with mindset? Any differences when you get overseas?
Well,
I would imagine like
We're about to find out.
we're about to find
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Well, I'd be willing to bet that there's a, and we're depending on where you go, that we have to bridge a cultural gap now.
Yeah.
That may or may not be. You know, you go to like a Latin American company or countries are typically more emotional in general. Like the men are more emotional. But you go to certain countries like I know like Greece, Italy, where there's a little bit more of a rigid masculine persona inside of that culture. Like that might be a harder kind of conversation to have. So I'd be curious to see what you find out when you make those trips.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. And we see some of those cultural things here, you know, even in the States. I mean, my father was from Sicily, so I can resonate very strongly with those rigid masculine men.
Oh, my
you know,
dad's
growing up. So.
immigrant from Cuba. I was just like, suck it up, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, I walked across the Rio Grande. You're gonna
There's
be
a
fine.
lot of unlearning and relearning
Right.
some of those things.
That's
so.
cool. That's cool. Where can people if people want to know more about this, where should they go?
On social media, HSN_mentoring. Grow Your Nutrition Business is where you can find more information about HSN mentoring and the MentalFit course as well.
Are you doing any social media handles or anything like that?
Just my practice, our
Okay.
gym, and then my personal one.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
but I'm all over. Nicole,
We do a lot of stuff
You find her,
together.
you'll find me.
Tailwinds CrossFit. I love
CrossFit
it.
Tailwinds, yeah, in Jacksonville.
Yeah, very cool. CrossFit. Spent some time in Jacksonville. Thing's not good for my mental health there, but that's okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We
Come back, we'll have to make it
we
up
should
to
talk
you.
about it. Yeah,
We should talk about it. We'll have some couch time.
Yeah.
After me.
Yeah, outside of that, Cool. Well, I hope I'll probably see you in December. I'll obviously see you on the road. Jay won't be at any of those, but that's okay.
I'll be at home doing the course.
Working on his mental
Working
health.
on my mental health.
There you go.
I can't wait
yeah.
for a wrap-up call.
Yeah. If you guys have questions, obviously reach out. If you want to reach out directly to us, we'll happily hand you off. But I'm excited about the course. I'm glad you brought that up.
It's needed in
Yeah,
this
for
space.
sure. And then gym owners, obviously Nicole's been doing this a long time. If you need help getting a nutrition program up and running, go no further. She's a ninja at this.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, ladies, very much. This
Thanks
has
for
been
having
fun.
us.
Awesome.
Thanks for pulling me in.
Cool. See you guys. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.